से हमने उसमें आपने देखा ही होगा, उसको पब्लिक हमने कर दिया है कि काफ़ी लोगों ने उसमें क्या कहा है। डिस्कशंस वहाँ पे टेररिज्म के मुद्दे पे, वहाँ से अफ़गानिस्तान से टेररिज्म ना हो, और हम लोग कैसे इंक्लूसिव गवर्नेंस सिस्टम वहाँ पे ला सकें या हो उस देश में, और ह्यूमैनिटेरियन नीड्स क्या है, उनको जो ज़रूरतें हैं। ये भी तय किया गया कि हम इस तरह के जो फॉर्मेट में डिस्कशंस हों ये चालू रहे। तो ये सब बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट मुद्दे थे, जिसमें क्लियरली ये था कि हम लोग इतने सारे जो रीजनल देश हैं ये मानते हैं कि इनका आना यहाँ पे और ये डिस्कशंस इस तरह के होना उनके लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट है, और हमारे देश में आके और इंडिया का होना उस ऐसे बैठक में, ऐसे डिस्कशंस में बहुत उनके लिए महत्वपूर्ण है। इसमें हमने चीन को भी आमंत्रण जारी किया था। उन्होंने, जैसे आपने कहा, कुछ कारणवश शेड्यूलिंग वो कह रहे थे कि नहीं आ पाए। अब बाकी वो कहाँ और जाते हैं और क्या करते हैं, इस पर मैं टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहूँगा। आपने कहा पाकिस्तान में जो हो रहा है, देखिए पाकिस्तान को भी इनविटेशन दिया गया था, आमंत्रण जारी किया गया था, वो नहीं आए। इसमें मैं यही कहूँगा कि ऐसे इम्पोर्टेंट मीटिंग में नहीं आए तो उनका इससे पता चल सकता है कि उनका किस तरह का रवैया है अफ़गानिस्तान के मुद्दे पर। मैं इतना ही कहना चाहूँगा। Siddhant, moving on to your question regarding steps on humanitarian support. Look, let me reiterate of what actually came up in the discussions and also what we have put out. I think India's support and to the people of Afghanistan is very clear. It is led, it's a people led interaction and our involvement with that country. We have been extending support over many years for the people of Afghanistan. I don't need to reiterate that today. Situation on the ground has become very difficult over the last few months since the transition there. And accordingly, I think we have been participating in meetings where this issue of how to address humanitarian concerns, impending humanitarian concerns. As you know, in the last, I was just talking to Madhurendra regarding the NSA meeting, where the very serious humanitarian situation in Afghanistan was discussed at length. And one of the key elements which we have seen in previous meetings was the need for unimpeded, unhindered access for aid or humanitarian assistance providers. And I think that is a key element of anything that we would be in a position to extend assistance. As you know, we have been looking at the possibilities, but there have been difficulties due to lack of unimpeded access. On the e-visas, I'm afraid, as I have always been saying, you'll have to contact our Home Ministry. That is on the visa element. Let me move on to the questions regarding, I think you mentioned about Pentagon report. I think NDTV was asking more about there is a village near the border or in the border. Let me choose my words carefully, because there are different elements in this. Look, as regard the US report, it was a US Department of Defense report to the US Congress. As far as we understand, we have taken note of the US Department of Defense report to the US Congress, which inter alia also makes a reference to construction activities by the Chinese side along the India-China border areas, particularly in the eastern sector. Reports had also appeared in the media earlier this year on this issue. As we had stated then, China has undertaken construction activities in the past several years along the border areas, including in the areas that it has illegally occupied over decades. India has neither accepted such illegal occupation of our territory, nor has it accepted the unjustified Chinese claims. Government has always conveyed its strong protest to such activities through diplomatic means and will continue to do so in the future. Further, as conveyed earlier, the government has also stepped up border infrastructure, including the construction of roads, bridges, etc. which have provided much needed connectivity to the local population along the border. Government remains committed to the objective of creating infrastructure along the border areas for the improvement of livelihood of its citizens, including in Arunachal Pradesh. And of course, government keeps a constant watch on all developments having a bearing on India's security and takes all necessary measures to safeguard its sovereignty and territorial integrity. So I think that addresses both the queries that you had mentioned. शैलेंद्र जी, आपने मॉस्को फॉर्मेट का जिक्र किया था, आपने ठीक ही कहा था. हमने उसमें जो कहना था उस समय कह दिया. मैं अब उसमें और कहने के लिए मेरे पास अभी नहीं है. हमारी वो मीटिंग रही थी जिसमें हमारे 2 डिप्लोमेट्स गए थे, वहाँ पे वार्तालाप हुई थी. पर उसके अलावा जो हमने जितना वहाँ कहा था काफ़ी है अभी के लिए. ओके, एनी अदर सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस?
Kallol from the Hindu. Yesterday in the NSA's meeting, it was decided that there should be unimpeded and urgent humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan. The situation on the ground is deteriorating every day in Afghanistan. Is there a deadline that you are looking at by when these assistance could be provided to the people of Afghanistan? Because it's winter already.
No, I think what you mentioned, what you referred to regarding. Any other set of questions? Yeah. Okay. You want on Afghanistan? Okay, we'll take it on. But please go ahead.
Sir, when the Moscow meeting took place, the a statement, purported joint statement, was issued, which said that, which referred to the Taliban as the interim government of Afghanistan, interim Afghan government. It was not clear at that time whether we had been signatories to the statement, or as some suggested, it was a chairman's summary or it was a joint statement. What exactly is India's position on this issue? Do we accept the fact? Do we accept what is written in that joint statement that the Taliban is the interim government of Afghanistan? Thanks.
सर्जना शर्मा सनमार्ग से. कुछ मीडिया में खबरें आ रही हैं कि अफ़गानिस्तान में चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग यानी लड़कियों को बेचा जा रहा. बहुत सारी ऐसी खबरें हैं, तो ये बहुत ही डिस्टर्बिंग है. क्या यूएन की हेल्प से आप इस विषय में कुछ कदम, इस मीटिंग में इसके बारे में कोई चर्चा हुई कि ये जो चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग है इसको कैसे रोका जाए?
Somebody else had a hand up. Just 1 second. Here, please. Yeah, please.
Hi, sir. On this bilateral meeting with between the NSA and the other 3 security chiefs, it was a very brief one which we got. But the Iranian papers, they have published a very long, detailed one where they've said that Rear Admiral Shamkhani, he conveyed to NSA Doval that the economic relations were not satisfactory and the economic barriers have to be removed, and he's asked for full commissioning of the Chabahar port. And also what is and they've also said that NSA Doval agreed that the relations were not up to the mark. So what do you say to that?
I'll take one more question before you. Somebody else. Pranay? Yeah, please. Okay, I'll come back to you.
सर, ओआईसी के जो स्पेशल एनवॉय हैं जम्मू कश्मीर को लेकर, वो इस समय पाकिस्तान के दौरे पे हैं और पाक ऑक्यूपाइड कश्मीर के कई इलाकों में भी उन्हें ले जाया गया. उसके बाद उनकी तरफ से कई स्टेटमेंट आए हैं. तो इस पूरे मामले को पाकिस्तान जिस तरीके से कश्मीर के मुद्दे को ओआईसी के साथ उस प्लेटफॉर्म का इस्तेमाल कर रहा है, भारत आपत्ति उठाता रहा है, लेकिन आप इस पर क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
Okay, एक और, there were some hands, but let me just do that, and I'm sure there are a couple of more. Okay. There are variety of issues, some of them related to the NSA's meeting, so let me take that first. Look, there's a query, I think, from Kallol about the urge. I think, as I was starting off by saying, during the NSA meeting, both at the bilateral meetings as well as in the meetings that, the actual conference that took place, there was clearly concern over the very serious humanitarian situation, and I would say looming humanitarian situation rather than just immediate. There is obviously no deadline for such things, but the fact that all the regional countries were on the same page in expressing their concern on the humanitarian situation and their determination to see that assistance is provided, and their call for ensuring unimpeded and unhindered movement of goods, as well as movement of aid workers, etc. I think shows the importance of it. I don't think they've had a deadline in mind, but naturally this with winter approaching, there are reports, disturbing reports coming in of the dire humanitarian situation, and I hope that this call, a joint call by so many national security heads, would spur movement on the ground. संजय जी, आई थिंक आपने जिक्र किया कि वहाँ चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग की बात हो रही थी, या देखिए एग्जैक्टली उस पर चर्चा हुई है नहीं, मुझे चेक करना पड़ेगा, पर ये सिक्योरिटी की दृष्टि से मीटिंग हो रही थी। यूएन के असिस्टेंस की बात तो नहीं हुई थी इसमें। सारे देशों ने अपने क्या पर्सपेक्टिव, अपने नज़रिए से किस तरह का सिचुएशन है और किस तरह के हमारे मतलब हम कैसे देखते हैं। और हमें जो मैं हाईलाइट करना चाहूँगा कि ये सारे 8 देश 7 वो जो आए थे, हमें एक कॉमन पोजीशन था कि देखिए जो थ्रेट्स हैं, जो सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस हैं उस देश से, वो हमारे सबका नज़रिया सिमिलर था, सिमिलर पर्सपेक्टिव्स था। पर ये चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग इशू पे अब मुझे तो कोई खबर नहीं था कि ऐसे ये स्पेसिफिक इस बिंदु पे बात हुई थी या नहीं, पर अगर हो तो हमें आपको बताएंगे। आपने who asked about the I think you asked about 3 NSAs की ब्रीफिंग के बारे में पूछा था। आई थिंक दैट वाज द देखिए NSA met with the other NSAs also, okay, तो सिर्फ not just 3. We haven't issued anything on that of the meetings because these are security meetings which are held between the NSAs. तो इसमें जो बातें हुई थी उसमें हम तो सब चाहेंगे कि जानना क्या होता है, पर देखिए मीटिंग्स ऐसी होती हैं कि हर चीज़ बताया नहीं जा पाता है। अगर उनकी तरफ से कुछ निकला है ठीक है, हमारे तरफ से हमने फॉर्मली कुछ नहीं कहा है। आई थिंक दिल्ली डिक्लेरेशन ऑब्जेक्टिव मेन था और उसमें काफ़ी कुछ कहा गया है। कॉमन ऑब्जेक्टिव अफगानिस्तान पे था। जो द्विपक्षीय मुद्दों पे चर्चा हुई थी उसमें अभी तक तो ये सिक्योरिटी पर्सपेक्टिव से है, तो हमने इसको पब्लिकली नहीं इसको रिलीज़ किया है।